first skydived in college. Contrary to what a lot of people perceive skydiving as, is a bunch of crazy testosteronic nutbags. You know, it's a very family-oriented sport. It's a beautiful bunch of folks who love the same thing, and floating through the sky, there's nothing quite like it.
Will Slattery and his two friends, Jimmy Simplicio and Manny Sanchez, are on a dream vacation, skydiving in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica is a great place to jump. The sky down there was absolutely gorgeous. It was blue, clear, beautiful. We were all jumping in shorts. It was just amazing, you know, really comfortable skydiving. Just a really good vibe down there. A perfect time away in this exotic tropical location. Jimmy was a really great coach, a really great teacher, a mentor to me. Manny was more of a friend. Manny actually used to wear this big jester's hat. It was quite funny.
Get drunk and do it again, you know?
I'm not gonna take my hat off. No.
Will and his buddies have traveled to Costa Rica from California, where they're all members of the same skydiving club.
Elsinore Skydiving School?
You knock yourself out.
Giles Fabris manages the club and checks in with the guys, even if they're thousands of miles away.
Elsinore Skydive Club, Giles Fabris.
About Skydive Elsinore was the family of skydivers that live and jump there. The best group of people anybody could possibly ever meet. Fantastic family atmosphere between the skydivers, it really is.
What will I mean with all this paperwork?
They were going down to Costa Rica to kick back, relax, do some jumps, enjoy the scenery, and generally just have a great vacation with a ton of skydiving in it.
Yeah, all right, you enjoy it. Cheers.
Hey, it doesn't get much better.
Good stuff.
Hey, listen, we're gonna chug a while.
We're gonna chug. Chug. Slide back.
Hey, Bill, please, he's gonna talk.
It's a clear blue skies.
And wind in
Clear
your hair.
blue skies.
Yeah, wind in your hair except for mine.
The next day, Will prepares for his final day's jumping. And as always, safety is the #1 concern.
You check your gear over and over again. I'm probably more anal, so to speak, about that than a lot of other people, but I tend to check my gear several times to make sure that everything's in order. I'm an adventurous person, but I'm in no way a cowboy. I'm not going to do something that's going to kill me. People will tell you I'm quite conservative. If you pay attention to what your gear is doing and where things are supposed to be and keep them where they're supposed to be, it can be a very, very safe sport.
Hey, Will, you almost ready, buddy?
Yeah, man.
All right.
The guys have delayed the day's jump until the afternoon. There's been a storm in the morning, but by lunchtime, the skies have cleared.
Cloud's gonna blow over.
It was sunny, you know, some white clouds, but nothing stormy. Minus the intermittent clouds, things that day looked like they would be just the same as the day before.
Hey, Bradley, what's up, buddy?
So we all started getting our rigs together and getting our gear on to get ready to go skydiving.
Yeah, good to go.
Ready? Let's go, Jimmy, baby.
The plane we flew down there was a Cessna 206. It was a small airplane, smaller than probably most cars.
All right, my man.
Planes for skydiving are generally, they'll take out the seats, so it's basically an open compartment in the back, and we'll sit back to leg, you know, so kind of sit in a row so that we're packed in there nice and tight, you know.
Okay, blue skies, safe landing.
Fire up, baby.
Camera up. Ready?
Yeah.
Nervous, man? You look nervous.
Yeah, dude, all right.
The atmosphere on board is light-hearted.
I was there.
But as the plane climbs, the weather begins to close in.
Within 5 to 10 minutes after we took off, we actually entered the clouds. And from that point on, for probably 20 minutes, we were in complete whiteout, meaning all around the airplane was white. We couldn't see the land, we couldn't see the ocean, we couldn't see anything.
Pretty thick, huh? Freaky.
A little bit unnerving, you know.
Will and the guys hold tight, obeying the golden rule of skydiving.
Skydivers aren't supposed to fall through clouds. It's just a matter of safety because people can get disoriented.
Sorry, guys. I thought we might find a break.
We were expecting at some point to come out above the clouds, but we just never did.
With no break in the clouds in sight, the guys decide to turn back.
Okay, guys. It's too thick.
It's just not worth taking the risk.
We were a little disappointed, but we all skydive a lot, so it wasn't a big deal, you know, we'd get over it. We're used to clouds and, you know, you don't jump through clouds generally, so it was fine.
But as the plane turns and makes its way back to base, they hit serious trouble.
Within 20 seconds after we started going into minor turbulence,
God, I hate this car.
it just got worse and worse.
Okay.
Then the plane started going into massive turbulence. I was definitely not a happy camper, you know. I didn't want to be in a little tiny plane flying crazily all over the sky.
No.
Seconds later, the plane begins to lose control.
The plane was just going haywire. It even started to tilt. I was on the ceiling, I was on the floor, I was on the ceiling, I was on the floor. I was frightened. At that point, there wasn't much we could do except ride it out or jump out.
Get the lag.
With the plane now hurtling towards Earth, Will and his friends have no option but to take drastic emergency action.
And at that point, we all started going for the door, trying to get it up. It was the only thing we could do. It took us 4 tries to get the door open because we were being thrown about the airplane so much.
Come on.
Despite not knowing how high they are, and if they have enough time to parachute properly, they dive into the void.
Once that door was open, my butt was out of that airplane. I did not want to be there. I knew that. I trust my skydiving equipment. I trust my parachute, and I did not trust that airplane at that point. I just got out. 5 to 8 seconds later, my automatic parachute went off, which means I was going at a very fast velocity at about 700 feet. We were very low in very low cloud cover, and it was a shock to me. At that point, I looked around for my friends. I saw Jimmy under his canopy as well, going the other way quite a distance off, and Manny was under his canopy next to me, flying parallel to me.
Will is desperate to know that his old friend, Manny, is okay.
I kept calling out to him to try and get his attention so that we were coordinated on landing. But he never answered. He was just kind of limp, you know. His head was hanging down, and my assumption at that point was that he got hit by the airplane coming out. It occurred to me that he might be dead.
Just seconds after jumping, Will is now hurtling towards Earth at 40 miles an hour, with absolutely no idea where he might land.
The plane crashed in the water behind me, and I looked back and saw the tail of the plane sticking out of the water. I was in somewhat shock at that point.
Will has hit the ocean, still attached to his parachute rig, and he must act fast to avoid drowning.
If you land in water, you want to get your chest strap off so that you can take your gear off immediately and swim under the parachute. At that point, it was really about focus and trying to do the right thing, so if there's a chance of survival, that you survive. It took me 2 or 3 minutes, and that was a pretty scary feeling because you can actually get tangled up in the lines and drown.
On surfacing, Theo Rosmulder is on a long-awaited gold prospecting holiday in a remote part of Western Australia with his wife, Pauline.
Hi, love. Can I get you anything?
No, thanks, love.
Feeling lucky?
Yeah. Today might be the day.
You had your pills?
Yeah. Had him earlier. See you, love.
The treasure hunting trip is a reward for Theo, who's recovering from triple bypass heart surgery. To survive, he needs daily medication to regulate his heartbeat, and Pauline has come along to keep an eye on him.
I don't enjoy the same enthusiasm of gold detectives as Theo does, but I do go, as your good wife does. It was an eye-opener to me as to how remote and desolate Western Australian bush is. Once you'd lost sight of that caravan, you didn't go any further. You turned and came back because, I mean, you got turned around and I was lost. You know, it was very, very easy to get lost.
The Australian Outback is one of the world's most sparsely populated regions. Apart from a small Aboriginal settlement about 6 miles from Theo's camp, the area is completely uninhabited.
You can drive for 8 hours constantly and not come across a soul. Wouldn't pass a farmhouse. About the only thing you'd lucky to see would be maybe some wild camels, an odd donkey, and basically dirt, trees and nothing else.
The Outback is also home to dangerous wild dogs, or dingoes. Opportunistic predators that eat everything, from lizards to kangaroos. And sometimes, even people. Theo and his 2 friends, Doug and Brian, focus their search on a remote region peppered with old mines from the 1900s gold rush. After 2 weeks gold hunting, they feel they know the area so well.
We really need this today?
They leave their handheld GPS in the back of their vehicle.
Back here, 5:30 then?
Yeah.
Be lucky, boys.
To be honest, if I look back, I was getting pretty cocky. I'd been out so many times by myself and thought I knew the area like the back of my hand.
The men will guide themselves back to their vehicle using the sun, as the Outback has few features to navigate by.
We're only going to go out for an hour or so at the most. We decided we weren't going to walk around any great distance. Gold fever.
Lovely.
They talk about gold fever, yeah, that's basically it. If you don't find it, it's the thought of actually finding one. And when you do, you want to find another one.
With one shiny nugget in his pocket, his prospects look good. But Theo's thirst for gold gets the better of him, and his intensive search takes him much further than he realizes.
You get that engrossed in what you're doing, you don't check to see how far you've got, and when you turn around you think to yourself, my God, have I come this far?
While Brian and Doug return safely, Theo's not only late, but he's lost his only way of finding their vehicle. Heavy clouds have rolled in, presenting him with a serious problem.
I looked up at the sky and there was no sun to speak of because of the cloud cover, and the cloud cover was exceptionally thick. I realised that, this is getting serious.
Theo had planned to retrace his steps to the vehicle using the sun. Without it, or his GPS, he has absolutely no way of navigating.
I basically couldn't quite work out as to which direction to actually go back to the car. And I was getting pretty dejected. So I took an uneducated guess.
Theo has made an error that could cost him his life. Instead of trying to find his way back, he should have followed the golden rule of the Outback. If you get lost, stay put and wait for rescue.
He's taking his time.
It's now half an hour past their rendezvous time. Theo's friends Brian and Doug start to wonder where he is.
I got myself totally disorientated to the point that I didn't know where left, right, up, down, north, east, west was. I looked around and I thought, I've been here before. This area looks so familiar. But I realised that it didn't matter where I was. It all looked familiar.
Theo was in one of the world's harshest environments. A vast and featureless desert, devoid of food and water. Without a compass, and with light fading, Theo is totally lost.
How in the hell am I going to get out of this? It was getting just on dusk. I knew by then that I'd be spending a night out in the open if I didn't find my way home.
Then, in the last minutes of daylight, he stumbles on a fence, a lifeline in the middle of nowhere.
We were told that if you find a track or a fence line, if you follow it, it'll take you back to the Aboriginal community. I've got to try and work out from here which way to go.
Theo's decision may mean the difference between life and death. One way will lead him to the Aboriginal settlement and safety, but the other will take him deeper into hostile wilderness, miles from help, food, or water. Lost and alone, Theo has to make a stark choice. Left or right? With night falling fast, Theo decides to take a chance.
When you're looking at a cold night, if there's an opportunity to get back to camp, you tend to grab it. I take tablets for a heart operation that I had, and I wanted to get back to make sure I took those.
You had your pills?
Had him earlier.
Theo's medication is essential to maintain a steady heartbeat. But he left his pills in camp. Missing doses can send his heart out of control and put his life in immediate danger. Back at camp, Pauline is increasingly worried.
He can nearly talk himself into palpitations. if he doesn't have his tablets.
The heart wasn't doing that great. I could hear it just thumping in me head, and the more I walked, the worse it got.
Theo has bet his life on the direction he's chosen to lead him to safety. He's still ignoring the rule of the Outback, to stay where he is once lost.
I took off, followed the track. Did that for probably an hour.
But his gamble is about to fail.
When the track ran out, I thought to myself, well, that'd be right. The only track I picked to follow, and it's the only one that ran out.
Theo has walked miles in the wrong direction. Instead of the safety of the Aboriginal community, he's ended up deep in the desert.
That's about how good my luck was going.
Hello, Theo. Pauline here.
Yeah, Pauline, we're just packing up and Theo's not back yet.
You what?
By this stage, it's dark. Really was cold. We found our way out there to where they were.
Theo's wife raises the alarm, but a full search can't begin until daylight. Without his medication, that could be too late. But it's not the only danger Theo faces. Temperatures in the Outback can plunge below freezing in winter. He's only wearing thin cotton clothing and is at real risk of hypothermia.
Wouldn't you just know it?
At night time, it gets very cold. Once the sun went down, you lost all heat. You think to yourself, well, okay, I've got to find somewhere to huddle into that gets me out of the weather somewhere.
Theo faces another crucial decision.
Do I tread back, follow the track all the way back, or do I try and find some place to camp for the night? And I decided to look for an outcrop with a hollow in it where, you know, the kangaroos sleep.
Theo abandons the fence, knowing that he risks not finding it again. Instead, he searches for a rocky outcrop and possible shelter. But it could spell danger.
I was a bit dubious when I first got there. Don't know what's in here. You know, if I come across a kangaroo, that's fine. They'll just jump off and be more frightened than I would be. I don't want anything to do with dingoes.
Dingoes often sleep in kangaroo hollows and will attack if disturbed.
I went with my pick out front. If I disturb them, they might get nasty.
He has no option but to cautiously enter the shelter. If he stays out in the open, he's likely to freeze to death. The cave is empty, providing shelter, but little comfort.
The fact that I was only wearing a cotton shirt, jeans, I was just freezing cold.
We just kept looking and looking and looking and beeping the horn, and I stood up and just yelled and yelled and yelled. And then we thought, well, this is getting really serious.
As night draws in, there's still no sign of Theo. So Pauline and Brian turned for help to the people who know every inch of this terrain, the local Aborigines.
Can I help you?
Yeah, we've lost a fellow of ours about 8 k's up the track.
Does he have any water on him?
No.
Eric, go and get some of the boys.
Unaware that a search effort is underway, Theo faces a long, cold night alone.
Here I was huddled into this outcrop of rock, which was only covering probably 2/3 of my body. I heard a motorbike, and I sat up and looked out to where the noise was, and I could see somebody.